Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's give us 1 second. Okay, hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Costantino Lee, and I am the Marketing and Promotions Manager over at the Santa Barbara Independent. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday afternoon with us at today's Downtown Business Spotlight. This is our 38th episode of Downtown Business Spotlight. And for those who don't know, it's an interview series co-hosted by the Santa Barbara Independent and Downtown Santa Barbara, where we interview and highlight different Santa Barbara business owners or organization leaders in our community. So we are recording this conversation, and it will be up on both independent.com and downtownsb.org. You can view it there afterwards or share it with some friends and family. We also have all of our other recordings there, so if you missed any of the previous 37 episodes, feel free to watch them online. And if you have any questions for our guests today, please put them in the chat below and we'll try and work them into the conversation. Our host today is Robin Elander. Robin is the Executive Director of Downtown Santa Barbara, and I am so happy to co-host the show with her, and it's just been a fun thing for us to do each week. So with that, I will turn it over to Robin.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily, for that great introduction. It's been really a joy to be on this program with you every week. And today we have such a treat. We are here with some amazing powerhouse guests. We are here with Kristin Flickinger, who's the Executive Director of the Pacific Pride Foundation. We also have Jackie VanLingen, who is the Development and Events and Program Manager, also for Pacific Pride. We have Jordan Killebrew, who is the Director of Communications for Santa Barbara Foundation, co-leader of Healing Justice, and the co-founder of Juneteeth Santa Barbara. And we have Stacie Bouffard, who is the board president of Summer Solstice Celebration. And I'm playing dual roles today because I'm also the executive director of Summer Solstice Celebration, in addition to Downtown. So much to talk about. We're going to talk about events and festivals. First, before we get into all of the festival talk, I want to hear a little bit about each of you and how you got into your different roles. Let's see, Kristin, would you mind sharing a little bit about your background and how you got into your role at Pacific Pride?
Sure, thanks so much. Really excited to be here in community with everybody. Always nice to see these faces and be around the table. Hopefully it will be around a real table soon enough. So hi, everybody. I'm Kristin. I'm the Executive Director of Pacific Pride Foundation. I've been in this role since July of last year, and I'm new to Santa Barbara as of August. So I know about this much about Santa Barbara because I've seen my apartment for the last 11 months. And I'm really excited to be going out and meeting folks for coffee and whatnot. If anybody wants to do that, take me to your favorite coffee spot. I want to learn.
Yes.
So my background is, most recently, I came from the Los Angeles LGBT Center, where I was the director of programs. I sat on the senior team there, and that's the world's largest LGBT organization. So I have a root in program delivery and creation. And before that, I was the director of AIDS Life Cycle for Southern California. So I have also my roots in fundraising and HIV work. And that's, of course, the ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles that takes place in June. Before that, I did a whole bunch of different stuff. I had traveled the world, did fundraising for national nonprofits. I'm a lawyer by training. And yeah, I ended up in Santa Barbara because, well, it was COVID. I was applying for a job. I wasn't sure LA was the right place to be anymore because LA is cool, but not when you can't access any of the cool things. And I was spending time with my folks in Idaho, which is where I grew up. And after 4.5 months of accidentally being in Idaho, I thought, wow, I really enjoy being outside, and I enjoy a nicer pace of living and being connected to the community more than I had felt. And so when this job opened up, a number of people said, you should apply. I applied. I met the people who work in the community. I was blown away with the breadth of work that Pacific Pride has done over the past 45 years, and was really charmed into the idea of being here. And I could not be happier that I took the job. Pacific Pride Foundation has been doing remarkable things during COVID, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of the things like the Pacific Pride Festival and our Royal Ball and our big events that we've done in the past, and getting to know all of you more, participating in your events. Just really excited to be here with you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome, Kristin, to Santa Barbara, as well as to your new-ish role. And we can't wait for you to see Santa Barbara in its full swing, which is really starting to materialize in the last week, really. So very exciting. Jackie, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how you came in to be in your role as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie VanLingen. My pronouns are she, her. I am the development and events manager at Pacific Pride Foundation. I have been lucky enough to be in Santa Barbara for about 20 years now. Was a graduate at UCSB. I just aged myself a little bit. I am one of the only people, actually the only person left that graduated with me in my class. And I came here from Orange County. And I think we can all agree that Santa Barbara is a really special place. I think the thing that really just pulled me into this place is the sense of community that we have, that, you're not going to find a Chili's restaurant here. You're going to have, local restaurants that everyone loves. And just the community here in itself is just so very special. And I've had events background at like the Biltmore, and I've worked at Cottage and their development department as well. And giving back to the community is something that has always been important to me, because the community is what I really love about Santa Barbara. I had somebody close to me pass away during the AIDS epidemic, and was also a closeted bisexual, and was a drug user. And working at Pacific Pride Foundation just really resonated with me through the programs and services that we offer. Our counseling services, our clean exchange needle program, our outreach to the LGBTQ community could have saved this person's life. So I think our programs just really speak to me. And as an ally, I really like to use my voice just for those that don't understand, the messaging behind the LGBTQ community. So it's something I take a lot of pride in.
Beautiful. Well, we are so happy to have you in our community doing amazing things, Jackie. So thank you for being here today and all you're doing. Jordan, you are next. A person who has an abnormal love for community. I love that that is part of your website, and that's who you are. Tell us more, Jordan.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. Yes, I have an abnormal love of community, and it's funny that I work at a community foundation known as the Santa Barbara Foundation, and the director of communications there. But like many people on this call, I wear many hats. And so one hat is in volunteering for Juneteeth and healing justice. And so for me, it's been a long time coming. I think what I found in this community is it's beautiful, but there's certain things that we don't talk about. So for example, when a place I used to work at, we would talk about, oh, Jordan, you're gay. Oh, Jordan, you're out, and that's great. But then people would whisper that I was Black. They'd be like, oh, Jordan, you're Black. And I'm like, why are you whispering? That is my identity. Like, why is that a thing? And that brought about like, okay, how can we do better in our community? How can we change this culture of not talking about our Blackness? And so what sparked out of that was a lot of work. I remember in July 2016, there was a heaviness in the air for senseless gun violence. And that's the summer of Elander Castile and Alton Sterling. And I remember linking up with my friend Chiani Dree and Simone Ruskamp and saying, we need to do something for the community. And so we had a peaceful candlelight visual. And that really sparked us into this role of let's support our Black community, because there's so many Black people here. And so what we found is we need to do more. And that's what we did. And so Juneteeth kind of came out of that, of like, let's celebrate, let's educate and celebrate our community at large, and let's make it special. And so our first Juneteeth event was at El Centro on the Lower West Side. And we all just cooked, soul food and brought it together and just really broke bread in a family setting. And then with all of that information, come to find out that this was actually not the first iteration of Juneteeth. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So I'm just, very excited to be here. It's kind of funny, some of my identities are represented here with Pacific Pride Foundation, of course, Juneteeth. So just wanted to say hello, and I can be kept away from the work that I do and volunteer work that I do.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Jordan, for all you're doing. And we're going to come back to you shortly to learn some more. Stacie, my favorite partner in crime for the past 6 years and holder together of Solstice for many more years. Stacie, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into your role as board president for Summer Solstice Celebration.
Wow. Well, my background is actually in the computer industries, where I started at a project manager. And over the years, it just became, it's not something that really resonated with me. I was always an artist in my heart. And so I started exploring other things and other ways to be expressive and to be part of the community. And when I moved to Santa Barbara, Solstice, well, first of all, I was here many years ago when my daughter was small. And we saw the parade quite by accident. It just happened. And she's a very artistic, creative person. And it was just so magical for her. And I've never forgotten that. She got in the street and was dancing with the jellies. And she just lit up. I mean, it was just beautiful. And so when I came here, I just wanted to get involved in that and in that joy. And that just speaks to my heart. And I got involved as an artist first, and then became more involved in the organizational part of Solstice and signed up to be the board president. Let's see, I've been with Solstice 19 years. And of those 19 years, about 12 as board president.
That's such an incredible history, and so many themes have come through and so many amazing gatherings of unique, diverse community coming together. So we're going to talk more about what's happening this year and more about that shortly. But thank you, Stacie, and such a joy to be in this conversation with you. Let's see, Kristin, would you like to share a little bit about what this year has been like, a little bit about pandemic, what your organization has been doing during this time? And then maybe Jackie afterward, if you can share a little bit about some of the events and projects that are happening within Pacific Pride this year and what we can look forward to. Kristin, you want to start?
Oh, sure. That's an easy question. What has this year been like? I think we all know what this year has been like. It has been an incredible challenge on so many levels. What we've been up to, so Pacific Pride Foundation does a whole lot of things. And I like to think of the things we do under a wellness umbrella. We are dedicated to ensuring a vibrant, thriving, and visible LGBTQ+ community. And we do a lot of things toward that, whether it's individual services, whether it's kind of social, connection services, or whether it's communal wellness. And the last year has challenged all of those things. I think we've all personally come to understand things like how important social connection is. I think that's especially relevant in this conversation. In the past, Pride's a nice festival. Getting together and being with each other feels good, but I think we all understand on a real gut level, like at our cellular level, that getting together isn't just nice. It's critical for our mental health. It's critical for our physical health. There are real physical outcomes from getting together and from the lack of getting together. So the lack is what this last year brought. And what we've been doing is trying to bring back that wellness and that connection. So we've done that through everything from, I think Jackie was mentioning our syringe exchange program. So we have robust opioid response and prevention services, whether that's the county's own syringe exchange program. We distribute lots of Narcan. We help to save hundreds of lives every year through overdose reversing drugs. We've got a fantastic counseling program. So we have a counseling program, specifically focusing on LGBTQ+ folks, their friends, their families. A lot of youth access that program. And we also, it's a training program. So we have interns who are coming to get their hours toward their LMFT, who are becoming steeped in what it means to serve an LGBTQ+ population and our specific mental health. We also have social groups. We have a Proud Youth group that meets regularly. We have specific groups for our youth that have neurodiverse needs. So, a journaling group, a quiet arts kind of reflection group, we have a Proud Youth of Color group that has come out of the specific needs of our youth of color saying, hey, we'd like a separate space to address some conversations that we want to have. Fantastic, youth-led, youth-directed. We also have a Proud Older Adults group that allows our older adults to come together and have lunch. As simple as that might seem, that social connection saves lives. We recognize that, and it's important to us. We also, in the past have done Pacific Pride Festival, which Jackie will talk about with social connection. But then we also do these community wellness things, which is, it's nice for our folks to walk through our doors and be safe. But when they walk back out our doors, we want them to be equally safe. So we try to address those things through education, through trainings, through advocacy work out in the community. So we're working with corporate partners, county partners, city partners, all sorts of partners to make sure that they're trained in whatever way they need to also address the needs of our LGBTQ+ and HIV impacted communities. We've done all of that during COVID, most of it remotely, some of it in person, and we'll be expanding some of those areas as we move into the next year with our lessons learned from the past year.
Wow, this is incredible work. And the conversations we're having today, really underline what it is to be a strong community and to bring these resources and community and connection and welcoming, inclusive spaces. And so I'm getting goosebumps because this is a special group of people offering this to the community. Jackie, tell us more. What's happening this year and what's coming up?
What's happening? So much is happening, and quickly. Like, it just happened so fast.
Yes.
We're trying to catch up. I did just want to tap into something that happened this year that I'm particularly proud of. And events-wise, I think it was such a hard adjustment for everyone to move into this virtual space. And we all dealt with this. And, everyone's on these Zoom calls. And how do we translate an in-person event to something that you're watching on your computer screen? And I think of this particularly within the scope of the LGBTQ community, where home isn't always a safe space for some folks, especially LGBTQ youth, whose parents may not approve of their gender identity or their sexual orientation. But something that came out of that was our Proud Prom that we held earlier this year. And it was about an hour of content. And we worked with our friends over at Decker's to really create this pre-recorded video of local drag queens in town and dance party with DJ Darla B. And we had a little visit from Lil Nas X. And to make a long story short, all of our kiddos were on that screen for an hour, engaging with one another, which was the purpose of that event. They couldn't be together, but they were so virtually connected, which really just made a tough year of connectivity just a really, really bright side for me. So I think that was something really good that came out of this year for PPF. And I want folks to be proud of that. You can actually see it on our website as well. So something that should be rewatched and celebrated. But moving on to things to come, we have so many things happening this June. And, with it being National Pride Month, we're really celebrating in community. And this, again, just really goes back to like Santa Barbara just coming together and really being there for each other. And I know so many businesses are struggling and have been hurt by the pandemic, and we have just been flooded with support. A couple of highlights, I know we mentioned earlier, there's like a Pride Window competition going down in the downtown area, and Jake and Jones put that on. And it's just so lovely to walk down State Street and see that kind of visibility. I'm really proud of that one. And McConnell's this month is doing a Pride ice cream flavor. CB's is doing Pride shoes. Decker's is a 10% give back. I mean, I'm going to put some of the things here in the chat of what else you can find that's happening this month. But us in general, I think, have kind of struggled with how do we replace Pride? Pride is really irreplaceable because you can't put limits on Pride. So we tried this like, okay, well, there's restrictions around how many people can be there. Well, it's not Pride if we only have 100 people there because we're excluding so many people. So we came up with this concept of Summer of Pride where we can, do some micro events around town that everyone can come to. So more will be updated on our website, but we'll have some family events happening this summer. We're planning to celebrate through September. We'll have some things happening for those 21 and over. If anyone is interested in being on a committee or has any ideas, we are more than welcome to have those ideas as well. Then also later next year, we'll be very excited to welcome back our biannual Royal Ball Gala. So that'll be on April 2nd in 2022, working with Merrill Brown Events again. So it just feels good to get back in community.
Oh, yes, it does. And it's been so important to have these elements of community along the way this year, because we've needed it more than ever, and to be able to actually get back and hug people again now, and all of that is so special. And the outpouring of support that I've seen for Pride, specifically downtown in the past several weeks, has been incredible. Just seeing those different window installations, and I definitely need to try that ice cream. What kind is it? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I still don't get Zoom. McConnell's did their Santa Barbara strawberry ice cream, and then they embedded it with like some kind of shortbread cookie. So there's like a little bit of saltiness in it. And then also they did rainbow sprinkles, and also added chocolate sprinkles as a representation of people of color within the LGBTQ community. And I will have to give you just a small snippet. When I talked to McConnell's about this, they said that their sprinkles distributor was so excited about the idea that they gave them a discount. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Jackie. Really, really interesting to hear how you've pivoted and what's coming up. Jordan, it's been a big year, pivotal in so many different ways, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Tell us what we should know about Juneteenth and what you want people to know in our community about what you're up to.
Absolutely. And Jackie, Proud Prom is like one of my favorite events. I love chaperoning that event, especially because you just get to see these youth come into their own in such a sacred space. So thank you, Pacific Pride Foundation. Juneteenth, I love this song. To our event producers, which are Letitia Forney-Rush and Mariah Jones-Pescara, who dreamed big this year. We were hoping this year that we could have some type of in-person events. A block party on State Street always sounds amazing. However, we had to pivot because we're still in this thing called COVID. And what they decided and what we, came up with was Melanin at 833 State Street. This is a all-Black local artists gallery that's open from 12 to 7, Wednesday through Sunday. And it is beautiful. It is a space that when you walk in, you can just still feel the love, feel the excellence, and it's just gorgeous. And so that is open all month long. And then we also have some virtual events that will be happening as well. We'll have some panels that will start tomorrow, and then we'll have a Black artisan market that will be at Melanin on Juneteenth on Saturday. And then we also have, a virtual program that will be starting at 5:30 and go to 7:30. And that can be found at juneteenthsd.org. And so this space is so beautiful that we want to keep it open. We want to keep it for ourselves, and that's not cheap. So we're really, really looking for lots of fun, like donations and for the community support to keep the space open, because what we found is that, in one day we had 80 visitors. And that just shows that there is a need for this. I was speaking with one of our elders, Black elders, and he told me, he's like, this is the first time that this has been an all Black gallery on State Street. This is the first time in history. So, Juneteenth is making history. Healing Justice, their fervent support is making history. And we want to keep this space to also run programs through it. So this past year, the work that is in tandem with Juneteenth and Healing Justice, we started working with the UCSB Oxford Center and created the Healing Space, which is actually linking Black mental health practitioners with Black individuals in our community. COVID was a bear. It's still a bear. There's so much going on, and we recognized that there wasn't enough support for our Black community members. And so we were able to connect the dots, and we're hoping that we can, run programs out of Melanin, out of that space, gallery space, 833 State Street. So juneteethsb.org, please go there, please donate. Please donate to hjsb.org, Healing Justice. We need that support because these programs are vital to the vibrancy of our Black community.
Wonderful. And so we're so excited for the whole community to come out and see that this weekend. What are your dates and times? When does it open?
So the gallery is open from 12 to 7 p.m. and that's Wednesdays through Sundays. And then tomorrow, Friday, June 18th, we have at 12 o'clock a virtual conversation with United Hope and youth learning tools. And then on Saturday morning, we have such a beautiful, this is one of my favorite things, it's called Chocolate Baby Storytime. And we get to read to our young little ones inclusive and BIPOC books that really are engaging and build up our young little babies. Then from 12 to 4, we'll have our Black Artisan Market that will be located at 833 State Street. And then from 5:30 to 7:30, we'll have our virtual big event. Well, we're gonna have dancing, music, libations, and a nice little message from the founders, which is myself, Chiani Dree, and Simone Westcamp. So please join us. I will go ahead and put the link in the chat, but we hope that you join us in community, and I hope that you engage with us and support us. Thank you.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you for all you're doing to make that possible, and can't wait to see that this weekend, and hope that it gets to continue for many years to come. So very excited. Stacie, tell us about summer solstice and what solstice is in general, the organization, and then a little bit about what's happening this year.
Well, Solstice is a large art community. We believe in the healing power of art. We believe in the power of art to unite people together, all diversity. I mean, we are very inclusive. That's part of who we are. It's part of our message, and we love to have fun. That's the other thing. And so we, under normal circumstances, we put on a big parade and a big party, and we bring the community together. And we haven't been able to do that for, well, it's going on the second year has been really, really hard. So it was a real challenge to get the energetic level, because solstice is a lot about energy. We are highly energetic, and it was really hard to get that after 2020 to get that energy back. But we did, and we're doing some really wonderful things. We're having a virtual State Street parade, which will be free screening to the community at the Arlington Theater at 10 o'clock on the 26th. We also have a virtual community parade that we'll be posting to our YouTube website. And we've also had very successful classes, free art classes that we've been doing this year, which has been really fun to see the level of participation. We had the wonderful flower making workshop that was just, I mean, I couldn't believe how many people came, and they just, I think people really needed to feel that being part of something again, so it was really beautiful to see. And this year we're also able to have a small party. So we're going to be doing that the evening of the 26th. And we'll have live music, and we'll be showing both our virtual State Street parade and our virtual community parade there. It should be a lot of fun. People will be able to meet the artists, which we have so many incredible artists. And I think that was another benefit of this, is that we've been able to feature them far more, than we have in the past, because it's the only way we could keep that message out there. So I think it's given the community an opportunity to really get to know these people and understand the gifts that they're giving to the community, which are numerous, and not just during solstice, but throughout the entire year.
Wonderful. There's so much to say about all of that, and I'm this year's theme is Bloom. So tell our community about this Blooming Arts Gardens concept that we dreamed up and implemented and
yes,
has become this,
thank you for
phenomenon.
not that it's I need a reminder, but I'm still swirling a little bit because we just got the video
Right.
off our plate and it's to the presses. So
Yes.
so we're still I'm still a little crazy. But anyway, yes. That is another thing that we did this year was we wanted to have representation in the community, out in the community. Since we couldn't have a parade, we wanted to kind of bring the parade, spread the parade out into the community, which we did by having these site installations, and also people decorating their homes, and also decorating their businesses. And you'll be able to see, I mean, we have a Blooming Gardens guide, which will give you all of the locations for these installations that you can go and see whenever you would like. We will also, all of these installations will be in our virtual community parade. So they're absolutely, they're just incredible. I think Jackie was saying she walked by one the other day. She goes, "What's that?" Like, what's happening here? Yeah, so it's a really special, and I feel that this is another thing that's come out of this is, you know, this may be something that we can continue in the future in our celebration, that we can just keep this going at a bigger community level rather than just, you know, the 3 days that, well, it takes longer than that, but you know, the 3 days that most people see it. Yeah, it would be really beautiful. I just, the creativity is phenomenal, and the spirit is phenomenal, and the community coming together is very inspiring.
So true. And it is, to the degree that you stayed around 20 years as board president. Tell us a little bit about some of maybe a highlight or 2 or 3 that, like, maybe mention some of the themes that have happened, and just a quick highlight, because there's so much that you've seen.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, it's there. The one thing that always strikes me about Solstice, and it always happens every year, is there's this, the universe always gives us something that we need. And it's amazing that way. And often an artist will be creating something and they need some really strange thing to finish it. It magically shows up. And I'm not kidding you. And it's I just feel like it's the universe is telling us you're good, you're going in the right direction, and giving us the tools to do that. And it's just very magical. I would talk about my giant nose that showed up one year. I was doing a fun house, and I had a fun house, big fun house face, big. I needed to make the face, and I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to make this nose. What am I gonna make it out of? I had all these thoughts in my mind, and the next day, a giant nose showed up.
That's great.
Made out of styrofoam. Big nose. It was perfect.
Well, the randomness and awesomeness that comes out of Solstice has been definitely a joy for me. And even this year, the amazing things that have come out of it are purely beautiful. So I encourage everybody to check out this link that we just put in the chat of the Solstice Blooming Arts Garden Guide, with activities and pop-ups that are on the exterior of businesses, residences, and music installations, offerings, events that are happening throughout the community.
And also you can always go to our website, solsticeparade.com.
Yes.
All the information is there. Some sneak peek previews of submissions and filming at the community arts workshop. So yeah, there's lots of fun stuff there, and also on our Facebook.
Beautiful. So lots of good, joyful spirit to be brought to the community from all of these organizations. Kristin, do you want to tell us a little bit more about maybe some of the things that you want the community to know about your organization, and just some of maybe the critical issues that are coming up that you want to work on this upcoming year?
Sure, happy to do that. I feel like we go from joy to like challenge. So sorry for that.
Well, that's the year that we've had, my goodness. So we're trying to combat it, but we deal with it, and then, it's a balance.
I know, it's the truth. And all of our communities are such joyful communities, like at our cores. So, we'll talk about the trauma for a minute with an acknowledgement that there's just joy and resilience that are at the core. So yes, for us, two of the learnings, I said, we're going to move forward and expand some of our programs due to the learnings of the last year. And those two areas where we'll be expanding are in the areas of mental health. So I think everyone's aware that mental health is a critical need for literally everyone. LGBT people are actually everywhere. We're part of every community. So anywhere that there's something hard happening, we're there at that intersection. And these types of things impact our community at higher levels. So when we talk about mental health issues, whether it's substance use or suicidality or depression, LGBT people are overrepresented and have more disparate impacts. So what that means is we should figure out how to provide more mental health, especially in a culturally competent and LGBTQ+ specific supportive way. So our plan this next year is to increase the number of interns that we have in our program, which means we can increase the number of people that we will be able to see. We're going to do that almost immediately. In the next 6 to 12 months, we hope to double the size of our program. So that is happening. And then the other place that we plan to expand is in opioid response. So this is another area people are very, I think, aware of the fact that we have an opioid crisis that's been going on for quite a while. People might not know that LGBTQ+ people are impacted at a disproportionately high rate than other communities. So when we're doing our syringe exchange, we are seeing more LGBTQ+ people than you would expect. So that is a place where we will be increasing what we're doing. We will increase from 2 locations in the county to 4 locations in the county, and from every other week to every week in our service provision over, again, the next 6 to 12 months. We're staffing up. We have some county resources for the opioid response side, which is really great. And on our counseling side, all of these areas, there's always a funding gap. So if people want to get involved, they can either, sign up to be volunteers. They can help to pack our kits that we give out to folks with the Narcan, with the syringes, things like that. Or they can donate. We will take donations all day long. If you're not comfortable coming out and working at a syringe exchange, that is fine. We pay people to do that, but what we need is the money to pay them. So we'll put a link for you to be able to donate. We are expanding because the need has only increased during COVID. And while we're a resilient population, we need to support our population. So that's what we're looking to do in terms of the next year, how we will be expanding our programs.
Thank you. That's really great work, important work, and people should make a donation right away, because helping our community with these particular areas is really a way to take care of each other. So we got to do it. Jordan, would you like to share a little bit more about Juneteenth and what the community should know about that, and we're looking at a federal holiday as well. Tell us about the significance of that for you and for our nation.
Absolutely.
Big question.
It's a big question. I think it goes back to the other day, somebody asked me, Jordan, what does Juneteenth mean to you? And for me, it is the ability to be free, the ability to have options, the ability for me to be Black and queer and choose to go into philanthropy and work as director of communications at the Santa Barbara Foundation, to have that access is important. I'm grateful that the Juneteenth is being recognized as a federal holiday, but I hope that it doesn't get watered down. I hope that it stays true. You know, sometimes when we get three-day weekends, it becomes a party weekend, but I hope that we stay true to what this holiday means and what our ancestors, elders, and allies have all done and fought for. And I think it's a start. I think it's a start for much more work ahead. And so for Juneteenth, we do a lot throughout the year. It's not just one day, and in partnership with Healing Justice. And a lot of that is telling our truths, telling the histories of our lands. You know, this is our Chumash land. And so we always want to acknowledge our siblings, our Chumash siblings, but we also want to acknowledge what is the truth here. And we know that in our research and working with Sojourner Kincaid Roll, one of our elders, is that there was a vibrant Black community in the 70s and 60s. And a lot of contributions have been made by the Black community. We did a showcase called the Black is Beautiful Showcase that was during Black History Month. And I was the MC, I highlighted on several Black icons in this community that helped start, you know, the Franklin Center or Cottage Health. And so it's really important that throughout the year that we continue to tell these stories and educate, not just one holiday, but we continue to do that. And so we really are looking for a Black African American Cultural Resource Center, hoping that that's 8333 State Street, to tell our histories, to also, you know, do an oral history project there, to learn about what is the current happening with all of our Black African American identifying folks here in Santa Barbara. I remember we were on, starting last year, we started doing Black community meetings, and it was like a first for all of us to be like, wow, this is a all Black Zoom. This is the most Black people I've been on Zoom with ever. And so it was a moment of just like, oh, wow, this is beautiful. And what bubbled up was, why can't we have an impact hub? Oh, sorry. An impact hub. Sorry. Why can't we have a space to gather, to have, you know, Black mental health practitioners work out of, to provide services? And so really, really hoping that we can get that in the interim off the ground, but also start fundraising for our own space that we can own ourselves and provide meeting space for all of our Black serving organizations.
Really incredible. That is very exciting. And each of these programs that you're speaking of really take partners and commitment and funding and significant organization within the entire community. And so, Jordan, I just want to give you another chance to share how people can partner with making this a reality. And then I also want to give Jackie, Kristin, and Stacie an opportunity to speak for each of your organizations a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we, just like Pacific Pride Foundation, we gladly accept donations with our partner. Thanks. I know I work at the Santa Barbara Foundation. Thanks to the Santa Barbara Foundation for helping us with donations. But we gladly will take donations. We also are looking for volunteers to sit at the gallery, Melanin. And so if you're looking to do that, just go to our website. We can help you out there. But really, we always, you know, the conversation around race, diversity, equity, inclusion, access takes all of us. It is not an isolation. It is not, you know, just one singular person trying to do this. It takes us all. And so we all have to do our part to make sure that we are ever vigilant in being anti-racist, ever vigilant in uplifting diversity, equity, and inclusion in all that we do. We need to apply it to everything. And so I encourage folks, you know, you can engage with Healing Justice and Juneteenth directly, give us donations or you know, reach out and work out something with us. But I also encourage you to do the internal work. Whether it's your organization, do a DIA audit, organization-wide, see where those blind spots might be, but also then act on that. Act on it and change it. We need everyone to be accomplices in this work and help shift our culture so that it's healthier for us all. Because at the end of the day, it will uplift us all.
So true, and excellent insights, Jordan. Thank you for sharing. Jackie or Kristin, do you want to speak to either to that question? Partners?
I will say, number one, I just put something on my staff's calendar to come see the Melon display on Friday. So like, grab your people, grab your friends. Let's go support this incredible space and make it a reality long-term. It's something that we all need. So please, let's go support that. For us, I'm going to let Jackie speak because she knows all the things that people can do to support right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways, and supporting us always with donations is something that we always appreciate and will help us continue to do our work. But I just want to kind of echo on what Jordan was saying, and I think accountability is something that, you know, folks really need to have. And myself as an ally, I didn't understand they, them pronouns or how to use they, them pronouns. So I practiced it. I held myself accountable so I could show up for people in the way that they needed it. And I think Pacific Pride Foundation is also here as a resource. We do trainings for the community. We've done them for so many organizations. We just did one for McConnell's the other day. And I got a reply from one of the employees saying that their folks are now putting their pronouns in their Zoom profile links. So it's just really showing up for your community in so many ways. And I think that's really the root of it, so that we can make this community even better and stronger.
Oh, such a good things to be thinking about, and appreciate all of that, Jackie. Stacie, Summer Solstice has always been such an incredible partner based organization. It takes the entire community to put it on each year. And what would you say about how people could get more involved with Summer Solstice? And I can add to it a little bit as well.
Well, I would say, you know, of course, we are a nonprofit organization, and we do support the artists financially, our musicians and our visual artists. That's important to us. It's important to keep that thriving in our community, and you know, it often requires them to be able to make some money. So that's a real important part of what we do. So yes, donations are super important to us, and they help us to continue in that tradition. And you asked me what else, Robin?
Just how people can get involved or
yeah, well,
partner with Summer Solstice.
Yes, we love to collaborate. So we have artists who are willing to help in any way if someone needs to create something for an event, let's say. This is something we've really been working to get that word out there, that we do have artists who can help in that way, and in an amazing way. So that is always something that is available to the community through Solstice. It's just a phone call away. And
do you want to maybe speak about the junior artists apprentice program that happens on most normal years?
Most normal years, yes. In our normal years, yes, we do have junior artists in residence. We did have one last year who did a segment in the virtual parade, which was absolutely precious. And that was really fun to actually have a young individual want to be part of that. Every year we do have a scholarship for a mentorship, basically, for a junior artist in residence. And they get to come and learn how to use tools, how to create with recycled materials, how to collaborate, how to build a team. And they learn a lot of skills. And we've had a lot of junior artists over the years, and every one of them, I would say, they say it's like one of the best experiences of their life. I mean, they've gone on to do very creative things in their lives. So that's really a really precious part of Solstice too. And we love to see children and young people who are artistically inclined to be able to express themselves. And that's really important. And we continue to work on that part of our outreach and programming. But as you are all aware, there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so much money in the pot. So you know, it sometimes it's a slow process. But yeah, anyone that wants to contribute or donate to us, we greatly appreciate that. Donations of your time as well. We often have many volunteers necessary to help with this big job that we do. And so that's another way to get involved. And you can always go to our website to donate. You can also go to our website to find out about volunteer activities. We've really beefed up our social media presence in the last couple of years. So there's a lot more information out there on how to do those things.
Awesome. And there's still ways you can participate this year.
Yes.
Some of those, I believe, include you can submit community submissions to our community virtual parade. So you can still submit photos of yourself all dressed up or doing something fun in your house. We'll also be having those events that we just spoke about. You can watch the virtual parade from the comfort of your home on KEYT on June 27th at 4:30, or come watch with the entire community at the Arlington on June 26th at 10 o'clock. So that's an opportunity too. And I think the biggest opportunity is if you do have a creative spirit, you can share that through Summer Solstice, and you can also learn some of that in our workshop each year, where the entire community comes together to make the parade come to life. So it's really, really special place to collaborate, and it's wonderful to have us all in conversation, because there's so many things that we can support each other here with too. Emily, have we had any questions from our audience that we need to answer? I know that there was someone who was curious, wants to play in a musician who wants to get back out there. So we're always excited to have additional musicians as part of all of our organizations. So want to give a shout out to them. I think it was the Sweet String Sisters. So we got to get those Sweet String Sisters back into action. Emily, was there anything else that we wanted to answer or that's coming up in the independent people should know about?
Yeah, so I don't see any other questions, but there's still time. If you're watching this and have a question for any of our guests, you can put them in the chat right now. In terms of the independent, it's Thursday, so our new issue came out today. I highly recommend you go pick it up, or go to independent.com and read it online. We have a website, which is beautiful. And yeah, there's a couple of things going on right now with us. We are in the middle of Best of Santa Barbara nominations. So please go on there and vote for your favorite. There is an annual event category. So if any of these events that we've talked about today is your favorite, be sure to type them in and vote for them. And I think that's it for now, in terms of what we have coming up, or at least all I can disclose to the public. But we will be back here again next Thursday at 3 for another episode of Downtown Business Spotlight. We will have, the theme is working it, so it's all about jobs and employment and all of that, and that will be going along with our issue next week, which is themed around that. So we will have, on the Spotlight next week, we will have our publisher Brandy Rivera. We'll have someone from Amazon and Kevin Davis from Amazon. And then we will also have, I'm just gonna pull up my cheat sheet, unless Robin, you have, it's Pam from Work Zones. I'm just trying to find her last name. Tenase, I believe. So yes. Pam from Work Zones. So a good mix of people. We'll be talking about like office spaces and all that stuff that's kind of come up in the past year with working from home and getting back into the office and how people are feeling about that, and lots of juicy details. So if you want to tune in next week to that, go to independent.com/spotlight and you can register there. And that's also where we put all of our upcoming talks, as well as we get them on the calendar. I think that's it for me.
All right. Well,
yeah.
beautiful. It's been amazing to be here with you, amazing panelists and change makers, community activists doing fabulous things. So we look forward to seeing you out at your events, festivals, and support. Thank you all. Any last things that you want to say before we hop off today? All right. Well, thank you all. We'll see you next time. You can check out all of these.
Pleasure meeting all of you. And
Thanks, everybody.
see you
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
again. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
taking the
you.
time to talk with us.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.